Hey, Neek, one time they asked Bill Russell, what do you think of female referees? And Bill said, incompetence should not just be confined to one sex.
Yeah, you hear me? You good?
What's up, y'all? We are the HoopStorians. I'm Tony Styles. That is Unique over there. This day in NBA history, March 12th, 1956. Dick Farley of Syracuse fouled out after playing just 5 minutes, the fastest disqualification in NBA history in a game against St. Louis. His record stood for 41 years until Bubba Wells of the Dallas Mavericks fouled out in 3 minutes against Chicago on December 29th, 1997. Nick, how do you think someone like that fouls out? How do you think foul out in 3 minutes slash 5 minutes?
You have to be in the games specifically for that purpose, in my opinion. Like if you're fouling out that quickly, they sent you in there at least to gain. You know how you'll send a player in to get like a couple fouls, get in there and get like two fouls and everything like that. So this person probably called too quickly, and I don't know, just not reading the referees, not reading the way that they're calling the game, maybe. Um, I don't know. I don't think you foul out that quickly by accident, though.
Well, there you have it. That was this day in NBA history. Oh, so let's get into the greatest teams in the Pacific of all time. I think we're going to have to do something like where we go through the division and the Lakers are going to have to get their own segment like the Celtics did. The Celtics one is still coming. I'm thinking next week we'll probably do Celtics and Lakers. But yeah, because the Lakers have about, I don't know, 32 teams that should be in the mix, and it's just going to take its own little thing to knock it out. But I mean, we can try. We'll see what we get with.
All
So
right.
let's start off with that sounds like what was I going to say? Well, let's get into it. Let's get into the Kings. So for the
Okay.
Kings, I only got I got the '01 Kings, the '02 Kings, the '03 Kings, and the '04 Kings. Is there any other team Kings themes you think we should add?
You said which ones? You said the O1?
'01, '02, '03, '04.
Oh, in a row. All right, for sure. No, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, let's go up first. Let's go with the '01 Kings. They went 55 and 27. They were first in points, 13th in points allowed, second in pace, second in simple rating score, ninth in offensive rating, seventh in defensive rating, second in net rating. They beat the Suns in four. They got swept by the Lakers. Key guys were Weber, Peja, Doug Christie, Vladdy Divas, Jackson, Scott Pollard, Hidu Turkoglu, John Barry. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put them up against the '03 Kings. They were 59 and 23, third in points, 17th in points allowed, first in pace, second in simple rating score, sixth in offense, second in defense, second in net rating. They beat the Jazz in five. They lost to the Mavericks in seven. Their key guys were Peja, Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Doug Christie, Bobby Jackson, Vladdy Divas, Jim Jackson, Hidu Turkoglu, Keon Clark. Who would you got out of those two?
So these Kings rosters are gonna have a lot of the same players.
A lot of overlap.
Yeah. What was the record for? You said it was one was the first one. What was the record?
55 and 27.
55 and 27.
Yeah, and then the '03 ones are 59 and 23, and that was the year looking like they could win the title, but Weber got hurt in the playoffs.
Um, so for the '03, aside from the record, like you're saying with Chris Webber during that time period, that was that period where the Kings could have disrupted. It was like, yeah, it was before the Suns. So this is during the time period where the Lakers are going up against teams like the Kings, Spurs, and Portland. As far as when they're going on their dynasty run with Shaq and Kobe, because of the fact that this is a team where had Weber not got hurt, or yeah, a team where had Weber not gotten hurt, we would have
Hmm.
seen potentially a further playoff run.
Hmm.
We've already seen that they're able to match up and do well against teams like the Lakers, specifically the Lakers, actually. So, yeah, I think I'm going with '03 over '01. Like I said, a lot of the same players. Once we get down to '03, the hunger is there a little more. I think the drive might be there. I think they may have gelled a little better as far as the core players. So yeah, I'm going with '03.
I'll co-sign. I think you summed it up really nice. I think I think they were a better basketball team by the time '03 went around. I think having Mike Bibby instead of Jason Williams makes you a whole lot better too, as far as like winning games and things like that. Let's move on
Yeah.
to '02. '02, they were 61 and 21, second in points, 19th in opponents' points, first in simple rating score, first in pace, third in offensive rating, sixth in defensive rating, first in net rating. They beat the Jazz in four. They beat the Mavericks in five. They lost to the Lakers in seven. Their key guys were Weber, Bibby, Christie, Stojakovic, Divac, Turkoglu, Jackson, Pollard. I'm going to put them up against the '04 Kings. '04 Kings went 55 and 27. They were second in points, 25th in opponents' points, fourth in pace, third in simple rating score, second in offensive rating, 21st in defensive rating, fifth in net rating. They beat the Mavericks in five. They lost to the Timberwolves in seven. Their key guys were Peja, Mike, Bibby, Doug Christie, Chris Webber. That was the first year. Brad Miller, Anthony Peeler, Vladdy Divac. We got '04 or '02.
Uh, this one is actually kind of difficult for me. Again, a lot of the same players. It's kind of a toss up, but I'm more so leaning towards '02, given the fact that they were able to drag the Lakers out to 7 games, and this is during a time where the Lakers are still playoff contention. So yeah, I'm going with '02.
Yeah, I'd go ahead and go with '02 as well. I think because that's still a pre non-injured knee Weber. So I think the Weber thing was better. I do like the talent better though with Brad Miller, but yeah, it was
Mm.
just eighth. It just too much of a shell of its former self Weber. That Weber was 27 and 11. This Weber was like 19 and 8. Just there was a huge drop off. So yeah, I would go ahead and go '02 as well. So then who you got? You got '02 versus '03. We got those in the finals.
All right. So it's almost like a toss up. Leaning towards '03. Uh, again, I
Watch.
feel as though again, I think it's that loss. I feel as though coming off that loss in '02, it just does something to the grid. It does something to like it puts a fire. It puts a different kind of fire under you. Once you see what you can possibly attain, you fall short, you come back with a vengeance the next season. I feel as though when they came back in '03, they might have been playing a little harder. They didn't get the success that they wanted, but yeah, I feel as though that fired. I feel as though that loss is exactly what you need to build that character to develop a champion. Like I said, they didn't make it there, but they also had the Lakers standing in their way.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Lakers one, is if you really pay attention to that series, Game One, Lakers legitimately beat them. Game Two, Kings won. Game Three, they blew them out. Game Four, they were up big, and then they had that that shot that shouldn't have counted by Samaki Walker at the end of the first half, which is the reason why now we have the light up backboard and stuff around on replay. Then game five, they beat them. Game six was that terribly officiated game. Game seven, they legitimately lost. So, I mean, there's a really good argument they won 5 games out of it. So
Yeah. See.
just terrible with that. Yeah, I would go with 0-3 too. The big 0-3 with me is I like the addition of Jim Jackson on that team. The guy that was 11 off the bench and 20 something minutes. He was getting you 50 from two. He was getting you 50 overall, 46 from three. I just really think that was the difference. So yeah, so we got the 0-3 Kings moving on. Let's get into the Clippers next. I have the 21 Clippers. I have the 20 Clippers. I have the 16 Clippers, the 15 Clippers, the 14 Clippers, and the 13 Clippers.
All right. So the Clippers again. You said who?
I have
21.
13, 14, 15, 16. And then I have 20 and 21 with the Clippers.
As far as the Clippers. Okay. All right. I'm with you. I was
Anybody
making
else you
sure
want
I
to
didn't
throw
have
in or no?
anybody. Mm, I mean, what about the '06 Clippers?
I mean, if you
They
want to throw
had
them in the mix, as long as you got the numbers, we can match them up.
no, I ain't got enough for the numbers. So yeah, we can scratch them. Yeah, it's not that
Okay.
important.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
figuring, everybody else on these teams, they've gone to the second round like them. They just won more games, been further in the
Hmm.
playoffs, that kind of thing. All right, so the first up, we're going to go the 21 Clippers. They went 47 and 25. They were 10th in points. They were fourth in opponents' points, 28th in pace, second in simple rating score. They were fourth in offensive rating, eighth in defensive rating, second in net rating. They beat the Mavs in seven. They beat the Jazz in six. They lost to the Suns in six. Kawhi was out, in the conference finals, but their key guys were Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, and Nicholas Batum, Terrace Mann, Patrick Beverly, Zubac, Rajon Rondo, Serge Ibaka, DeMarcus Cousin. So that's who they had. Not only that, I didn't really remember this, but do you realize Kawhi averaged 30 points in that playoff run on 57% shooting?
He does that.
That is
Now, I
insane.
don't
That is,
necessarily know about the 30, but Kawhi, he's quite efficient. Like that's one thing
yeah,
that's consistent in his playoffs. He's very efficient.
yeah, it's insane. So we're gonna go ahead and put them up against the 13 Clippers. They went 56 and 26. They were ninth in points, fourth in opponents' points, 19th in pace, fourth in simple rating score, fourth in offensive ratings, eighth in defensive ratings, seventh in net rating. They lost to the Grizzlies in sixth in the first round. Key guys were Matt Barnes, Jamal Crawford, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Karan Butler, Grant Hill, Chauncey Bullock, Billups, Lamar Odom, Eric Bledsoe. Who you got, 13 or 21?
Okay. So I believe I'm actually going with the 13 Clippers. The reason I'm going with the 13 Clippers is because of how deep that roster was. This is the roster with Chris Paul. This is when Blake Griffin is doing his thing. We got DeAndre Jordan. This is one of them Lob City teams. This is one of them teams where the Clippers were looking like they were one of the best teams in the Western Conference, looking like basically the team that the Warriors needed to get through on their way. Besides the Spurs, the Warriors had their teams that they were competing and going up against. The Clippers was that team that looked like they should have and could have been. Um, so yeah, this particular team, yeah, I'm going with them. Like I said, they got Chris Paul, Willie Green, Karan Butler, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Chauncey Billups, Jamal Crawford, Eric Bledsoe, Matt Barnes, and Lamar Odom. That's just an extremely deep roster. Um, each one of these players are contributing players, whether they're giving you 10 points, whether they're giving you rebounds, assists. Every last one of these players can give you multiple things within an instance. So, yeah, I'm going with the
Yeah.
go ahead, my bad.
No, no, no. I'm just letting you finish. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 21. I'm gonna go with. I think this is one of the worst Lob City teams. Chris Paul showed up in those playoffs. Blake Griffin that playoffs averaged 13 points and 5 rebounds. Matt Barnes was getting you like 11. He was like your third leading scorer. Jamal Crawford was only getting you 10. DeAndre Jordan was getting you 3 points and 6 rebounds in the playoffs. So yeah, it just wasn't a good. I don't know what it was, but when they got to playoffs, they just completely changed. So I'm going with the 21. Like I said, crazy efficient Kawhi, Paul George, and especially the way they were playing in the playoffs. I just don't think they would have been that good and all that. Since first
No,
veto goes to me, then I'm gonna push my tiebreaker on this one. Next tiebreaker goes
sure.
to you. So the
All right.
next up, we're gonna go ahead and we are going to do the 15 Clippers against 15 Clippers. They went 56 and 26. They were second in points. They were 16th in opponents' points. They were second in simple rating score, 10th in pace, first in offensive rating, 15th in defensive rating, second in net rating. They beat the Spurs in 7, which is we have to go over that series sometimes. An awesome series, one of the best series I ever saw. 2015 Spurs Clippers. Yeah, then they lost to the Rockets in 7 when they blew that 3-1 lead. Their key guys were Blake, JJ Redick, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Matt Barnes, Jamal Crawford, Austin Rivers. We're going to put them up against the 20 Clippers. They went 49 and 23. They were fourth in points, 13th in opponents' points, eighth in pace, second in simple rating score, second in offensive rating, fifth in defensive rating, second in net rating. They beat the Mavericks in 6. They lost to the Nuggets in 7, another 3-1 lead type deal. Their key guys were Kawhi, Paul George, Marcus Morris, Lou Williams, Zubac, Patrick Beverly, Montrezl Harrell, Andrew Shamet, Jermichael Green, Reggie Jackson. Who you got, the 20 Clippers or the 15 Clippers?
I'm going with the 2020 Clippers. Reason I'm going with the 2020 Clippers is something made me realize with the 2021 Clippers. As a matter of fact, it's really Kawhi. With Kawhi being the most effective player on these Clippers rosters, completely, it's you see that you get better success with him running teams. You see that just throughout the whenever he's playing throughout the regular season or even the playoffs, you see a huge difference in what they can do and what's truly attainable.
Mm-hmm.
Given like the Lob City Clippers and everything like that, collectively, yeah, that's a team that could have got it done if everybody were coming together the way that they needed to. But when you have a Kawhi, the caliber that he brings to the game, you see everybody around him actually get better. And if they don't get better, you see them show up. You see them contributing more. You see them doing what they need to do. So on their end. So yeah, I'm going with the 2020 Clippers over 15.
I got you. See, and I would go with the 2015 Clippers in this scenario because when you talk about like efficiency and getting things done, you have Chris Paul getting you 22 in that run, shooting over 50%. You have Blake getting you 26 and 13, another shooting over 50%. You have DeAndre getting you 13 and 13, shooting over 70%. So so I like the 15 ones better than with their collection of talent and all that. But votes on you, so we're moving on to 21s. Um Next up we have the 16 Clippers. Um They went 53 and 29. They went. They were seventh in points, seventh in opponents' points, 14th in pace, fifth in simple rating score. They were eighth in offensive rating, sixth in defensive rating, sixth in net rating. They lost to Portland in 6 after Blake and Chris Paul got hurt. Key guys: Jamal Crawford, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, J.J. Redick, Jeff Green, Austin Rivers, Cole Aldridge. We're going to put them up against the 14 Clippers. Those guys went 57 to 25. They were first in points, 14th in opponents' points, seventh in pace, second in simple rating score, first in offensive rating, ninth in defensive rating, second in net rating. They beat the Warriors in 7. They lost to the Thunder in 6. They had guys like Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Matt Barnes, JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, Darren Collinson, and Big Baby Davis. Who you got, 14 or 16?
So for this one, just double check something here real quick. 23. Oh, 23. Okay. So where I'm going with this one, I'm actually going with the 14 Clippers. The reason why I'm going with the 2014 Clippers is in that playoffs, you have Blake averaging 23.5, Chris Paul 19.8 with what 2.8 steals, 10.3 assists. Along with the 23.5, Blake is also giving you a block, 1.2 steals, 3.8 assists, 7.4 rebounds. You also have DeAndre Jordan coming in with 12.5 rebounds to contribute with
Mm-hmm.
9.6 points. You also get JJ Redick good for 13.3 shooting. Where is Redick at? Shooting 40% from the three. You got Jamal Crawford shooting 34% from three, giving you 15 and 5 or 15.5. So I feel like there's more people contributing as far as core guys for that
Mm-hmm.
unit for me. So that's why I'm going with 2014.
I got you, and I'm gonna go ahead and co-sign on that. I thought 2014. I do think 20. How can I put this? I do think 2016 was closer if healthy, but 2014 had more results. So I'll go with that because they got to the second round as opposed to 2016 getting hurt in the first round. Also, too, it looked like they were about to go up 3-2 going home for game 6, and then Chris Paul just all of a sudden in the end just started turning the ball over and over and over again. I don't know what happened there. Still
Yeah,
nobody
that's
knows what happens
uncharacteristic.
there. Yeah, very much so. So yeah, I'm with 2014. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll give a bye to the 2021 ones since they went the furthest with the conference finals. Then we'll go ahead and put the
Mhm.
2020 Clippers up against the 2014 Clippers. Who you got?
Let's see. 2020 versus 2014. I need to double check something with the 2020 roster real quick.
Well, what do you want? You got Leonard, George, Morris, Williams. Leonard was giving you 28 in the playoffs on 49%.
That's
Paul
what I need.
George was giving you 20 on 39.8%. Marcus Morris 12 on 50%. Lou Williams 13 on 42%.
And
Montrezl
this is
Harrell 11 on 57.
okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm liking the I'm liking the 2020 a little better. I'm liking really what it comes down to for me is the 28 from Kawhi, the 20 from Paul George, Lou Williams. He was an awesome six man. He's an awesome off the bench guy. Come in and give you whatever you need. Whether you just needed a quick 10 or 15, or somebody that can give you 24. Like Lou can give you starter numbers within 6 man minutes. So I like those pieces a little better. Again, it comes down to effectiveness. The efficiency of that team is a little better in my opinion. So going
We'll
with
see. Actually,
2020.
well, I was going to say, actually, that's why I'm not going. That's why I'm going with 2014 because you got your second dude who's 6'8", shouldn't be shooting 39.8%. That's terrible on the efficiency. You got Lou Williams coming in; he's only shooting 42%. So I don't like him particularly in this run with their efficiency
Mhm.
on that. Kawhi, in another run, he shot shooting 57%. This one he's shooting 49, which 49's fine. 49's great. He's shooting a little under 3 pointers wide too at 32.9. So that's why I just don't like him as much or whatever. So we're going with I got the tiebreaker on this one. So we're moving
Different on
14
yours,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're moving 14 on. So now we got 14 versus 21. Who you like? 14 versus 21.
I'm going with 21.
Okay. Particular
Yeah,
reason why?
21. 21 seems to be the most effective as far as what they were able to do as a unit. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm going with 2021.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going 2021 just because I think that's prime George, 30 points a game, 57%, 39 from three, 65 from two, 88. He's getting you 8 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, a block. Yeah, it's just prime Kawhi. So, yeah, I don't think they have anything. So, there we go. We got the 2021 Clippers as the best Clipper duo, which is crazy because I thought Lob City would definitely win that matchup next. Um, Next up, we got some teams near and dear to my heart, and that's the
Oh, yeah.
Suns. So so I have the 22 Suns, I have the 21 Suns, I have the 10 Suns, the 8 Suns, the 7 Suns, 6 Suns, the '05 Suns, the 95 Suns, 94, and 93 Suns. Any problem with those?
No. I don't know how. Oh, here we go. No, I'm good.
All right. So the first team we're going to go up against is we are going to go up against the '07 '08 Suns. They went 55 and 27. They were third in points, 25th in points allowed. They were fourth in pace, sixth in simple rating score, second in offensive rating, 16th in defensive rating, eighth in net rating. They lost to the Spurs in five. Their key guys were Raja Bell, Mari Stoudemire, Steve Nash, Boris Diaw, Shaq, Barbosa, Grant Hill. We're going to go ahead and put them up against the 2022 Suns, who went 64 and 18. They were fifth in points, eighth in opponents' points allowed, ninth in pace, second in simple rating scoring, third in defensive rating, fourth in offensive rating, first in net rating. They beat the Pelicans in six. They lost to the Mavs in seven. Their key guys were Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder, Cameron Johnson, Landry Shamet, Cameron Payne, JaVale McGee, Bismack Biyombo, Torrey Craig. Who you got? You got the 22 Suns or you got the '08 Suns?
Mm. So, so this one is hard for me. So the 22 Suns, the way they were looking during that run, they're looking pretty good. Like they were looking like they could have actually taken the title that year. They were I don't know how they fell short. I mean, I seen what happened, but it's just the way that they were looking. It's like I said, that was the season that it looked like they were going to win. It's hard
Wow.
because I definitely like that '08 team with Nash. Amari, this is Amari when he was coming into being a superstar. Um, Shaq still had some gas in the tank at that point in time. I'm going with the 22 Suns. I'm going with them based on where they were able to go as far as the finals, how far they were able to stretch that postseason.
Yeah, I would go with the 22 Suns as well. I think they played. I think they were deeper than that team. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I just think they played with better cohesion. That was the year that they traded for Shaq, and they played much better that year with Marion than they did with Shaq. So yeah, I
Mhm.
would go 2022 as well. Next up, let's go ahead and go the 21 Suns. They were 51 and 21, seventh in points, seventh in opponents' points, 26th in pace, third in simple rating score, fifth in offensive rating, ninth in defensive rating, third in net rating. They beat the Lakers in six. They swept the Nuggets. They beat the Clippers in six, and they lost to the Bucks in six. Their key guys were Booker, Aiton, Paul, Crowder, Bridges, Johnson, Payne, Craig, Saric. We're going to put them up against the 2006 Suns. They were 54 and 28. They were first in points, 28th in opponents' points, first in pace, fourth in simple rating score, second in offensive rating, 16th in defensive rating, fourth in net rating. They beat the Lakers in seven. They beat the Clippers in seven. They lost to the Mavericks in six. Their key guys were Marion, Nash, Diao, Bell, Thomas, Barbosa, James Jones, Eddie House, Kurt Thomas. And that's not even counting Amari Stoudemire, who only played 3 games that year. But so you got the '06 Suns or the 21 Suns?
Oh six or the 21. I'm going with the oh 06 Suns. I mean, first in points, first in pace. Steve Nash. This is during that run where Steve Nash was looking like the best point guard, if not one of the best. I mean, he is one of the best point guards, but at this point, he was making his argument for one of the best point guards ever. That was the deep unit with the members and the people that you named. Yeah, so I'm going with the oh 06 Suns based on what they were doing during that time.
Yeah, I would go with the 21 Suns. Like I said, I think that was an ultimate gelling team. I think I think Paul would definitely be able to keep up with that Nash, especially with his headiness. He would probably still have something a little bit on him on physically. Plus Devin Booker, obviously that's a much better option than what's his name, Raja Bell, DeAndre Ayton. That was probably the best Ayton we're ever going to see, at least the way it's looking now. And then we had those nice wings and Bridges and Johnson and Jay Crowder and all that. So I would pick the 21. However, the vote's on you. So the '06 ones are moving on. Next up, let's go ahead and do the 2010 Suns. They were 54 and 28. They were first in points, 26 in opponents' points, six in simple rating, score, fourth in pace, first in offensive rating, 23rd in defensive rating, fifth in net rating. They beat the Blazers in six. They beat the Spurs, swept them, and lost to the Lakers in six. Key guys were Stoudemire, Nash, Richardson, Grant Hill, Channing Frye, Jared Dudley, Robin Lopez, Barbosa, Dragic, Amundsen, and Collins. We're going to go ahead and we are going to put them up against the '94 Suns. The '94 Suns, they went 56 and 26. They were first in points, 14th in opponents' points, sixth in pace, fifth in simple rating system, first in offensive rating, 16th in defensive rating, fifth overall in net rating. Swept the Warriors, lost to the Rockets in seven. Key guys were Kevin Johnson, Charles Barkley, Dan Marley, AC Green, Danny Ainge, Cedric Sabalos, Oliver Miller, Joe Klein, Mark West. Who you got, '94 Suns or the 2010 Suns?
I actually have the 2010 Suns. This is Amari. This is when Amari is, like I said earlier, he started coming into his own. He was there at this point, 23 and 1, 8.9 rebounds, 1 assist a game, giving you a block a game. Um, like you said, they were able to beat teams like the Blazers in six, even go through the Spurs. So yeah, them losing to the Lakers, who at that point in time, this is when Kobe's going on his second run as a champ. So I give that to 2010 Suns.
I'd go with 2010 as well. I just think they're way too deep. I think they run like 10 deep. Guys like Goran Dragic scoring like 25 points in a quarter to eliminate the Spurs going off. You had guys like that were, only getting like 10, 12 a game, but they were such an efficient 10, 12 game in Jared Dudley, and he played really good D. And then what Channing Frye was able to do was stretching the floor. And then you still had the explosiveness of Amari Stoudemire and the Steve
Hmm.
Nash. You also had a guy in Jason Richardson who could get you 30 any night. So yeah, I just like I love the high energy guy and Lou Amundsen afterwards. So yeah, I like the 10 Suns too. Let's go with the '93 Suns. They went 62 and 20. They were first in points, 18th in points allowed, third in simple rating score, fourth in pace, first in offensive rating, ninth in defensive rating, fourth in net rating. They beat the Lakers in five. They beat the Spurs in six. They beat the Sonics in seven. Lost to the Bulls in six. Key people was Marley, Barkley, Kevin Johnson, Danny Age, Richard Dumas, Oliver Miller, Mark West, Tom Chambers, Cedric Sabalos, Frank Johnson. We're going to put them up against the '05 Suns, who also went 62 and 20, first in points, 30th in points allowed, first in pace, second in simple rating score, first in offensive rating, 17th in defensive rating, second in net rating. Grizzlies beat the Mavs in six, lost to the Spurs in five. Key people: Sean Marion, Steve Nash, Leandro Barbosa. Who you got?
I I'm actually going with the 93 Suns. The reason I'm going with the 93 Suns, this is Barkley's MVP season. He's giving you 25 and 6 that year to go along with 12.2 rebounds, 5.1 assists per game. He's getting help from players like KJ and Danny Ainge, and they took the Bulls to 6 games in the finals for the championship. Um, yeah, I mean, this was one of those teams where had they not had to go through the Bulls, we might be looking at a champion. Had they gone up against like maybe a team like New York. So yeah, just the overall season success for '93 is the reason I'm going with that Suns team.
Yeah, I got to co-sign on that. I just think they were really deep too. They had Cedric Sabalos coming off the bench, getting you like 13 points in 21 minutes on almost 60% shooting, and he was an all-star in 2 years from here when he was given more minutes. You got guys like Marley made an all-star team, Ainge made an all-star team, Barkley makes all-star teams. Kevin Johnson makes All Star, like I said, Cedric Sabalos. Then you got other guys who had the talent for All Star level play, but for whatever reason they couldn't get there. Richard Dumas was an All Star level talent. Drugs got in his way. Oliver Miller was a All Star level talent. Just he had an eating problem and couldn't get thin and in shape. So yeah, I would go with them too. I would go with them too. So next up, we have the '07 Suns. They went 61 and 21, first in points, 23rd in opponents' points, third in pace, third in simple rating score, first in offensive rating, 13th in defensive rating, third in net rating. They beat the Lakers in five. They lost to the Spurs in six. Key people: Sean Marion, Raja Bell, Steve Nash, Mari Stoudemire, Leandro Barbosa, Boris Diaw, Kurt Thomas, James Jones. They're going to go against the '95 Suns, who went 59 and 23, second in points, 26 in opponents' points, second in pace, sixth in simple rating system. Their score offensive rating was third, defensive rating was 19th, eighth overall net rating. Swept the Blazers, lost to seven in the Rockets. Key guys: Barkley, Kevin Johnson, AC Green, Dan Marley, Wesley Person, Wayman Tisdale, Joe Klein, Danny Shays, Danny Ainge, Elliot Perry, Danny Manning. Who would you got, 95 or '07?
Give me those numbers for the '95 Suns again. I'm sorry, I just
They're
want to see
59 and
something.
23, second in points, 26 in opponents' points, second in pace, sixth in simple rating score, third offensive rating, 19th defensive rating, eighth net rating.
Okay, so I think I'm going with the '95, the '95 roster. They have so many different people that are contributing, and it's not to take away from '07 because '07 is pretty deep as far as core as well. But I'm liking the 15 from Marley, to go with 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Barkley averaging 23, 11 rebounds. He's getting 8 defensive rebounds at that. AC Green giving you 11.2, 8 rebounds. Danny Manning giving you 17, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Kevin Johnson giving you 15, 7 assists. Yeah, I think I'm going with 95. That's just a deeper roster. Even in the playoffs, Barkley still giving you 25. Kevin Johnson boosted his up to 24, 24 and 9 at that. AC Green giving you 12 and 8. Yeah, I'm going with the 95.
I think you eloquently put it. I gotta concur with you. So I think 95 was a much deeper roster. They were the best team in the league until Danny Manning got hurt. Looked like they were going to win the title. They are still the only people to take the champs that year, 2-7, and they were up 3-1 on the champs. So without Danny Manning playing a minute of that series. So yeah, I got to go 95 as well. All right, so moving on to the second round. Let's see. So we got 93, 95. Moving on, '06. What do we got? We got '06. We got
2010.
2010, and then we got 2022, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 93 went to the finals. We'll give them a bye. So let's do 95 against '06. Who you got?
Okay. So 95 against '06. I have to refresh myself on '06.
'06 Um is Nash, Amari, Marion, Boris Diaw, Raja Bell, Tim Thomas, Leandro Barbosa, James Jones, Eddie House, Kurt Thomas,
And then so I want to
and
see
then
is where they finished their play. 06, oh 06, oh 06. Where they finished? '06.
54 and 28, and they went to the conference finals. They lost in six to the Mavs. We're missing 3/5 of their starting lineup.
Okay. So for this one, I'm gonna go with the '06. So
I'm with you on that. I think they're similar in deeper level of talent. I do think it's 10 years of advancements towards '06 over 95.
yeah, um, just seems like I don't want to say like the generational excuse or the generational talent thing, but you do see like sometimes with teams or organizations where like you're saying let 10 years go, then you get to see like the huge difference, and you get to see like, how do I say this? Just more so what could be done with like a collection, like, you feel me? Whereas for instance, you put a bunch of players on the team, but before the 3 point was invented, you feel me? You're not seeing the same type of success. Now that little extra kick, that little extra add on. So I feel as though between 95 and '06, there were enough things to happen in the league to where these players are able to add, just a little bit extra to the game to make that difference.
Right. And yeah, I'm agreeing with you. And like I said, I think that's what has me with '06 over 95 as well. Um, let's do a 2010 versus 2022. Who you got there?
Mm. So with this one, with 2022, we saw them go to the finals. However,
Well, no, that's the next year.
oh, the next year. Okay, my bad. My correct.
Yeah,
My
that's the
mistake.
year that they lost in the second round.
Um, Up against the 2010 team. Yeah, I gotta go with the 2010 team. I like that unit when they were getting ran by Nash. Just the way they were looking as a unit for me. Trying to pull up to see exactly
What
what
do I have
Nash
the
did.
tiebreaker? Or is the tiebreaker on you? Because I'm gonna go with the
I
2022
think you
ones.
got it. Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was saying. I think it's on me. So I'm gonna go with the 2022 ones. Like I said, I think they were a better unit. I think they had a certain level of confidence that the other team didn't have. I think, like I said, it's also the development. They'll learn to play side, side to side better than the '06 did. So yeah, I would just go with the 2022. So
That's fair. It looks
um,
like their players started falling off in the playoffs.
yeah. So let's go this. So we got three teams left. Um, since we both agreed '06, we'll give '06 the bye. So who you got? '93, the Barkley title team, led title team, or the 2022?
I have the Barkley title team. I have the Barkley title team for that reason. This is a title team, but also just this was a complete unit. Like I said, had they not gone up against the Bulls, they may have had a different legacy. And I guess that can be said about a lot of teams. But at the same time, that season, like I said, this is an MVP Barkley. Barkley was showing that in his mind, he was the best player in the league. And then Barkley would go on crazy runs where you might see him score like 8, 10, 15 points in a row. So yeah, I'm going with Barkley and 93 Suns.
See, I would go with 22 Suns just because I don't know, they struggled. They struggled so much in that playoffs. They were every single series was at least tied.
Hmm.
Some series they were down. Yeah, so it just was a struggle or whatever. You got the vote obviously, so Suns go to you, 93 Suns, but yeah, I just don't yeah, I just don't like the Barkley up against like a team with 30 years and more of knowledge and stuff. So I don't like it in that regard.
That's fair.
But nonetheless,
Okay.
let's go 93 Suns versus '06 Suns. Who you got?
93 versus '06. I'm still going with 93.
I'll concur. I'm going to go with 93 as well. So there you have it. For all the same reasons, I think we're going to have 93. So we have the 93 Suns. Let's go into the last one. I got 8 teams for the Warriors, and let's see how fast we can knock it
We got
out.
to run through. Oh man, we got to run through the Warriors. They too deep.
Yeah, I know. Well, I got 8 teams, and that's the best I could do.
Oh,
So I have the 70.
18. I thought you said
Yeah,
18. I'm like, what? All right,
no,
for
no,
sure.
no, no, 8 teams. So I got the
Ooh,
75 Warriors that won the title. I got the
yeah.
76 Warriors that they say were better, but they turned on Rick Barry in the playoffs. After that, I got the 15 Warriors. I have the 16 Warriors, the 17 Warriors, the 18 Warriors, the 19 Warriors, and the 22 Warriors.
Okay.
Good to go. Okay,
Yeah.
First up, we're going to go ahead and go the 2018 Warriors. They went 58 and 24, first in points, 18th in opponents' points, fifth in pace, third in simple rating score, third in offensive rating, 11th in defensive rating, third in net rating. They beat the Spurs in five, they beat the Pelicans in five, they beat the Rockets in seven, and they swept the Cavs. Key guys were Green, Durant, Thompson, Curry, Iguodala, Looney, Livingston, McGee, Cook, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the 18 Warriors up against the 76 Warriors. They went 59 and 23. They were first in points, fourth in opponents' points, first in simple rating score, first in pace, second in offensive rating, first in defensive rating, first in net rating. They beat the Pistons in six, lost to the Suns in seven. They had guys like Rick Barry, Phil Smith, Jamal Wilkes, Clifford Ways, Charles Johnson, George Johnson, Charles Dudley, Gus William, Derek Dickey, and Dwight Davis. Who you got, 76 or 18?
I'm going with the 18 Warriors. Just seeing what they was doing, that domination that they was displaying for the seasons that they had KD. First of all, they were already dominating with the core of Steph, Clay, Dre, and Iggy. But then once you added KD, it looked bad for all of the other teams. I mean, they're doing stuff like running through LeBron. You have them running through all these teams in the playoffs, whereas they're only losing what I think they lost 2 games. All right, so they did lose two to the Rockets. They lost two to that deep Rockets team with Chris Paul and Harden and everything. But once you see them get to the finals, Cleveland didn't look like they actually stood a chance against them. And I feel as though that level of talent would be too much for a 76 Warriors team.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm concurring with you. Um, just simply put, 18 Warriors versus 76. It's pretty obvious why. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on the 18 Warriors. Up next, we're gonna go ahead and go the 19 Warriors. They went 57 and 25, second in points, 16th in opponents' points, second in net rating, 13th in defensive rating, first in offensive rating, second in simple rating score, 10th in pace. They beat the Clippers in six. They beat the Rockets in six. They swept the Blazers. They lost to the Raptors in six. Their key guys were Klay Thompson,
That's what I'm
Draymond Green,
waiting for.
Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala, Kevin Looney, DeMarcus Cousins, Sean Livingston, Quinn Cook. They're going up against the 75 Warriors with
Mm.
they went 48 and 34, first in points, 14th in opponents' points, third in pace, fourth in simple rating score, second in offensive rating, fifth in defensive rating, fourth in net rating. They beat the Sonics in six. They beat the Bulls in seven, and then they swept the Bullets. They had guys like Rick Barry, Charles Johnson, Jamal Wilkes, Clifford Ray, Butch Beard, George Johnson, Jeff Mullins, Phil Smith, Derek Dickey. Who you got? 19 or 76 or 75?
So, given the fact that the 75 team is a title team, but then 2019, had we not seen the injuries that we saw, could have potentially been a title team as well. I feel as though the players, if they were to match up, even though 75 saw the success that 19 did, and I feel as though overall 19 is a better team. So I'm going with
I'm with you. I think
2019.
Yeah, I think 2019 has just way too much now. You have an All NBA center in DeMarcus Cousins, who's like your fourth or fifth best player. So yeah, like it to me, it doesn't even compute. So yeah, so we'll do that. All right. So then the next one, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go the 15 Warriors, who went 67 and 15. They were first in points, 15th in opponents' points, first in pace, first in simple rating system or score, offensive rating second, first defensive rating, first net rating. Swept the Pelicans. Beat the Grizzlies in six. Beat the Rockets in five. Beat the Cavs in six. Their key guys were Curry, Green, Thompson, Barnes, Iguodala, Bogut, Livingston, Barbosa. We're going to put them up against the 22 Warriors, who went
Mm.
53 and 29. They were 15th in points, third in opponents' points, 13th in pace, fourth in simple rating score, 17th in offensive rating, first in defensive rating, fifth in net rating. Beat the Nuggets in five, beat the Grizzlies in six, beat the Mavs in five, beat the Celtics in six. Their key guys were Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, Kevin Looney, Otto Porter, Gary Payton. Uh, Jonathan Kaminga. Who you got? 22 or 15?
Hmm. So I'm actually going with the 22 Warriors. The reason I'm going with the 22 Warriors is because out of Steph, you get the same thing from Steph in 2022 for the most part that you would get from him in 2015. Even though he's a MVP in 2015, even though he's doing these things statistically that we're not accustomed to at that point in time, by 2022, this is something that you're used to Steph doing. A few of his players, yeah, they started fading a little bit, like Clay, but then he has like a Jordan Poole that's able to come off and generate anywhere from 21 to 30 points, and that's what's to look for.
Well, I like this. Saying the same thing as you.
Oh, but yeah, so for me, I just feel as though that 2022 team, that was one of those teams where you have it boils down to the leadership. 2015, yes, they won a title, but at the same time, it could have been looked at like not necessarily they beat Cleveland so much as
They got
Cleveland
lucky.
just lost. Right, you feel me? Like it can be argued that Cleveland just lost and didn't necessarily get beat.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue that when the Warriors won, but you see what I'm saying? Like that was just one of them teams where I feel as though the 2022 team as a unit was a little more put together. That would have,
Yeah,
I
no,
feel as though if that team would have gone up against 2015, that team with that veteran and that, just that pedigree already being there, I think that would have won. I would go with
no, I was gonna
exactly.
say that.
More developed stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
was
the same
I
thing.
was gonna say the same thing. The Jordan Poole scoring option off the bench that they just didn't have in 2015 is one of the, and then the way Wiggins played too, the rebounding that he rebounded at an excellent rate at his position. So best he ever played, and he hasn't played that good since. So yeah, so we both got the 22 moving on. Up next we have the 16 Warriors. They went 73-9. Um they were first in scoring. They were 19th in points allowed, second in pace, first in simple rating score, first in offensive rating, fifth in defensive rating, second in net rating. They beat the Rockets in five. They beat the Blazers in five. They beat the Thunder in seven. They lost to the Cavs in seven. Their key guys were Green, Thompson, Curry, Iguodala, Barnes, Livingston, Bogut, Barbosa. Um, they went up. Now we're going to put them up against the 17 Warriors, who went 67-15. They were first in points, 11th in opponents' points, fourth in pace, first in simple rating score, first in offensive rating, second in defensive rating, first in net rating. They swept the Blazers, swept the Jazz, swept the Spurs, beat the Cavs in five. Their key guys were Durant, Curry, Thompson, Green, Iguodala, Livingston, Zaza, David West, Patrick McCaw, JaVale McGee, Ian Clark. Who you got, 17 or 16?
16 was a deeper roster, but 2017 had the better players. With KD, it's just what KD brings to the table. I mean, KD does something that it would take three or four of the other Warriors players to do. So that's why I'm going with the 2017. I feel as though what KD was doing in the finals, the, the 2016 Warriors when they had no stop. I mean, it was hard enough to get past him in the conference finals. So once you add this person that you struggle to, get through, he put them with their back against the wall. Where were they? 3-1 against KD. So yeah, I'm going with 2017.
Yeah, I'm going 2017 just for simply the KD piece. I mean, also another piece that I really like was David West. Um, he'd get you, 5 and 5 or whatever in 15 minutes at like almost 60%. Just really efficient and all that.
Yeah.
And he was just there to win. So yeah. Moving on, let's keep this going. Let's go with the 2019 um, Golden State Warriors versus the 2022 Warriors. Obviously, 2019 no injuries. So who you got?
It's kind of a no brainer. The reason why it's a no brainer is because KD has already shown what he can do. Like you said, no injuries, so that gives us a good Clay. With a good Clay and KD, we don't even need the likes of a Jordan Poole to
What
contribute
about
too much.
DeMarcus Cousin?
Marcus Cousins, I mean, the bookie gonna do what he do because we can still use him. We can still use a big. But yeah, I gotta go with the what was it? It was 2017, right?
No, 2019.
2019, my bad. I gotta go with the
Yeah.
2019. Again, it comes down to the options. You got in 2022, you have Steph as your first option, which is not a problem. You got Steph as your first option, followed by Jordan Poole, who may or may not be coming off the bench. Whereas you have with KD, you have both Steph and KD giving you anywhere from 25 to 28 a night. Um, Clay doesn't have to do so much when KD's around. You might see Clay's numbers drop from 20 to 15, but at the same time, that's because you'll see Steph and KD's numbers raise in the playoffs. So
Hmm.
I'm going with 2019. That extra help would be too much for the 2022. That extra offensive firepower, I should say.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I mean, basically, you got five All NBA players. So between Cousins, Green, Thompson, Durant, and Curry. So yeah. So now we got 2017 versus 2018. Who you got?
2017 versus 2018. I think I'm gonna go with 2018. The reason I'm going with 2018 is we're seeing as KD is on the Warriors, we're seeing them just wait, hold on, let me double check. All right, 20, yeah, all right, 18. Yeah, so I'm going with 18 because we're seeing with the addition of KD, we're just seeing, like I said, how easy it was for that team to just run through players. And it seemed like they were just getting better and more confident. And it really didn't matter what their season record was because you already knew with KD, Steph, Clay, Dre, um, just that core, it was going to equate to, if not titles, it was definitely going to equate to going up into the Western Conference Finals, going into extended playoff runs. So, and I feel as though again, it just comes down to that addition of KD, watching him develop and grow on that team. He was a little more confident, a little more comfortable. They may have done more with their season record, but in the playoffs, we're seeing them look a little more gelled, a little more comfortable with the addition of KD.
See, I'd have to go 17 because I think they were looked on more. They only lost one game. In 17 they
And I
lost
get
three
that.
games alone in the. Yeah, so that's
Hmm.
what I'm saying. Is it my vote or is yours? Who's got the tiebreaker right now?
I think it's on you.
If it's not, it can be on you. We can give you 18. It don't matter.
No, that's on you.
So
That's on you.
it's on me. Okay, so then we got the 17. Okay, so we got 17 versus 19th. I'm gonna keep it real short because we already over time. I'm gonna go with 19 if nobody's healthy. Like I said, I like the Draymond. I like the DeMarcus
Yeah.
Cousin ad. You got a guy that can hit threes, post up, pass. Why he was injured or whatever. Um, Nonetheless, though, he was still better than Festus Ezeli and Kevon Looney and all the other guys they had before. So yeah, I'll go 19. Who would you go with? 17 or 19?
I'm going 19. Yeah, I'm going 2019, which is funny because 2017 is supposed to be the best Warrior team, but yeah,
Mm-mm.
2019.
Yeah, you just think too much firepower if they're all healthy, huh?
When that team was healthy, it was one of arguably the best teams ever assembled. Um, and it's crazy because this comes after them having a deep roster, but it was like they went from having that extremely deep roster and losing to having a shortened roster, but players that are so great that it was difficult to get past them, even going
Hmm.
up against other great players. Like for
Yeah,
them to struggle in the playoffs, like the teams that they struggled against. I mean, look at how deep Houston had to be in order to make them struggle. So yeah.
yeah. Since I would have 17, the chemistry was better, as we know what happened when Katie and Dre. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But this is like it, just kind of this. But in this what if scenario, we just do like peaks, So like the chemistry ain't bad. They're all healthy. They're just playing the right way with what they have. So that's kind of why we
Well,
do this to really see the best. But
you
on that
said,
note,
see
we
what
are
happened with
out.
Dre.
Yeah. But that note, we are out. We will check y'all tomorrow. Till then, I'm
I
Tony
like that.
Styles. He is unique. Please like and subscribe. Thanks so much.